I think it's got to be top of the bill. It's got to be the EUBANK Williams fight. I've looked forward to it for a long time. It's got a bit of everything. It's got the grudge. It's got the needle. It's got the unpredictability of who's going to win. This is going to be a special atmosphere tomorrow night. Liam Williams will have the crowd, whether it'll be a help or a hindrance, we'll wait and see. That's definitely the fight I'm looking forward to most. It's a pick-em. It's a case of whether Chris Eubank can shine and finally give us that career-defining performance that takes him to world title level, or whether Liam Williams will have another shot at the world title this summer. So,
you sure?
No.
Yeah. October Red Boxing here with Mr. Sky Sports himself, Adam Smith. Thank you so much for taking the time to come onto my small YouTube channel.
No problem at all. Nice to see you. And what a day it's been, and what a night it's going to be tomorrow night in the Motor Point Arena. You know, Welsh boxing is it never fails down here. We've had some fantastic nights and memories, and yeah, just sort of walking around the city. I'm really excited about it, and obviously the crowd can't wait for Liam Williams, and Chris Eubank Jr. has it all to prove. I think we need to see that defining performance from Chris, and you know, Liam's ready to knock him out. So look, it's got all the ingredients, hasn't it, of a wonderful night. And Clarissa Shields, I think, is well, her magnetism's incredible. I think she's got an aura around her, which she stops traffic, doesn't she? She's fantastic and wonderful for the sport. So really excited to have her over here, and particularly as well, looking forward to Caroline Dubois' debut, because she's one of our special fighters that we think is going to come through, and we were so pleased when she signed for Boxer a few months ago, and she missed her professional debut in November, and now it happens here, and it's happening on a bigger stage. So yeah, can't wait to get her going.
And we talk about the development, but what I'd like to go back to is the relationship that you've built with Boxer. October the 2nd, 2021, we saw the first show with you guys together. How has that development worked after being in partnership with Matchroom for so many years? How's that partnership worked so far to get the results that we're starting to see today with these, exceptional cards? The first card of the year, that's going to be an absolute scorcher.
It's a very good question, because I had a really deep partnership relationship with Eddie Hearn, Frank Smith, and the whole team, and we were great together, and I think that's hard, when you don't work together in business with someone and suddenly it ends. And I've said to others, it was like a divorce for me, because we spoke every day, Eddie and I, and that's tough. But we still do the darts together. There's still a link with Sky and Matchroom, and I wish him well at DAZN. He's got a huge amount of fights on and lots of fighters, so obviously we watch that with interest. It's great competition. But yeah, I've been at Sky a long time, and we've had different promoters over the years. Eddie was probably different, because we were very, very close in the partnership we built and the sport we grew, when Barney Francis, our former MD, decided that boxing should go to the mainstream, to the big arenas, and have one promoter. And obviously there was a chance for us to go again, and we didn't know quite sort of how the business would support us. They backed us to the hilt. We've got this 4-year deal with Top Rank, which is bringing wonderful global action to us, and it's a terrific deal. We've got Michaela Meyer over here this week, who I think is an absolute star, and we've also got a fantastic relationship now with Boxer. Ben and I were sort of thrown together. We didn't know each other, and that was probably in sort of end of May, early June last year. We've had 6 months of the two of us, talking night and day, and we built up a very special relationship already. He's very bright. He's very passionate about what he wants to do. He's got John Wischusen around him. He's got myself. We've been in boxing a long time, and I think that we've done a good job so far. We're not finished. This is a long journey. This is not something we've built a small stable of select fighters. It's a great stable. It's different, has different sort of men, women, characters at different levels, and I think it's brilliant. And we've had some real success so far. But I think February shows our intent. What we're doing two big shows on Sky Sports, this one and Josh Taylor and Jack Cattrall, and then the Sky Sports box office show that we've managed to get together, finally making Khan and Brooke, which is going to be electric in a couple of weeks. I think that, you know, our stall is out there. We really want to build from here, but it's not easy. There's a lot of competition out there. Ben's learning. I still learn every day, but I think together we've got a great partnership and relationship. I'm not sure my wife would say that when she gets the calls at 1 o'clock in the morning and it's Ben on the phone again. Why doesn't he come and live with us? You know, but it's that's the business, as you know, I'm sure. I miss Eddie, but I've got Ben, so it's a new challenge, and I'm really enjoying it.
And we talk about that new relationship. After being in a partnership with somebody for so long, like you said, you get used to them. You know what they're like. You're a good partnership. You work well together. You build the fights. Was you a little bit apprehensive about, okay, it's sort of like, oh gosh, we've got to go back to the drawing board, we've got to start again? Like you said, you never knew Ben. It's been quite recent that you've had to literally, okay, this is going to work, we've got to gel, this has got to happen.
I wouldn't say apprehensive, more excited about the challenge. I think that, you know, Matchroom obviously made their partnership with DAZN in the US, you know, 3 or 4 years ago, and that was a slight change for us. But we still had a great relationship, still put on some really good shows. You know, Ben said, oh, it's the best show that Sky Sports have put on when he at the press conference yesterday. And, you know, of course, he's a promoter and he's going to say that. And it's a fantastic show tomorrow night. But we've had some pretty good shows in the past. And, you know, Eddie and his team deserve a lot of credit for that. And, yeah, we did have a great relationship. But I think that, you know, he made the decision to go. I knew he was going to go. So I had time to get used to it. And I think I'm pleasantly surprised by how well Ben and I have worked together. And the first sort of few meetings were slightly odd. You know, suddenly my bosses said, off you go, it's you and Ben now. And I think that is different. But he's young. I'm not quite sure whether, I mean, he's a lot brighter than I am, but I'm not quite sure whether he's a partner or a brother, or sometimes he's like a sort of big kid, you know. I've got a son, and it's like sometimes I have to say to Ben, you know, just calm a little bit, you know. And I think that he knows that, and it's a great relationship that we've built up. He's a big Liverpool fan as well, which helps. He's got a wonderful team around him. I really like the Boxer team, and I got on with Matchroom so well. So, you know, I'm a people person. I like to sort of get very close to the people I'm working with, and as I said, it's I miss Eddie and Frank. Frank's down here tomorrow actually, because he'll be supporting Chris EUBANK, you know, with Emily, and it'd be good to see him and catch up with him. But my business now is with Boxer and Top Rank, and we're moving well. You know, we're going from strength to strength, but it's only the beginning of what is going to be a really exciting journey. And there's lots of competition out there. You know, Frank's had a fantastic week. That huge purse bid. BT Sports have got a brilliant stable of fighters, so too have DAZN. So it's a win for fight fans and for fighters.
And I'd say sometimes the competition is healthy because it keeps you all proactive and it keeps you on your toes, and you've got to think, okay, what have I got to do next? What's going on behind me?
I think they're just clearing up. I just wanted to...
right. Okay. Yeah, I was about to say, it's just... Where was I? You see, you've lost me now. Yeah, it's about obviously the new relationships, working together. Yeah. Ben's ambitious. I can see that he wants to obviously take Boxer places with Sky Sports. When we talk about innovation, I've just mentioned to Savage Dan actually about possibly having an app on the phone so everything's more portable. Sky Sports availability in the US. Is that something that you guys are thinking about moving forward? Because everything is app-based now. You've got a nice stable. You've got Michaela Mayer over here. I understand there's a Top Rank, etc. But is Sky Sports looking to possibly take their broadcasting like global as Sky Sports?
I think, look, we have a huge business in the UK and Europe with Sky. You've got to remember we're part of the Comcast family as well now, and that's NBC and Universal. So, look, we think we know the way to go with boxing. It's part of a huge stable of sports. Obviously, everything sort of rests around the football, the Premier League, and the other different deals we have, the rights deals we have. Formula One is huge for Sky. Cricket, golf. darts, netball. There's so much, the NBA, NFL. It's huge amounts of sport on Sky. We're just a part of it, and sometimes we have our moments in the sun, like this month, which is great, and it feels good. But then, as I said to Ben, it's like, well, what are we going to do in March? And I'm like, just relax. I said, we're going to have some good shows. We've got to start building our young stars, and we don't want to have everything. We can't have that in a business like Sky. We've got to sort of pick and choose carefully. So I think we've seen with boxing channels and DAZN are trying it, and obviously Box Nation in the past, and there's a hardcore amount of people who absolutely love watching every fight, and we at Sky Sports Boxing are part of those, but we want to watch everything, but as well I think it's about building stars. I think it's about utilising the different sports we've got that are going to get eyeballs onto boxing. I'm a big advocate of the women's boxing, and that's why one of the reasons we've got such a huge female stable. Very passionate thing for me with my relationship with Savannah Marshall over the years, and to have Clarissa over here is fantastic. And yeah, so I'm really excited about what we've got, but I think as far as sort of apps and other innovation, I'll leave that to people that are a lot brighter and more technical than I am. My job is to try and ensure that our customers get really good and exciting fight nights and great build-up, and we've got fantastic content makers at Sky, and and that they follow the stories. Everyone's got a story. Emma Cozen's story is unbelievable. Clarissa Shields' story is unbelievable. Everybody has a different tale, and that's what you get with fighters. You get the access, you get the time with them. They want to promote themselves, and it's a sport like no other. And as we know, it's unpredictable, and it's mad, and it's crazy, and it's 24/7. I think that's the one thing that Eddie and Ben have in common. Actually, they're very different characters. Eddie obviously likes to be in front of camera. He's very charismatic. He's got that sort of he's got that magnetism when he walks into a room. With Ben, he's very magnetic to be around. Actually, he's a brilliant guy, and I love sort of spending time with him. But he likes to sort of take it a little slower. He's not going to be in front of every camera. They're different. But I tell you what they've got in common. They're both 24/7, and they're both passionate, and they both love boxing. And I think that's great. And to have people like that, we know how much Frank has loved it over the years as well. To have top promoters like that, running our sport in the country. I'm sure Robert Smith is a very happy man. He saw him today, very happy that it was very respectful, all the build-up. We're in the Cardiff HQ of the British board as well. It's important to get these things right. So I think he's pleased with the way it's going, and we wanted a lot more work on the grassroots, with the amateurs as well. And Ben and Sky are behind that. The tournament shows will come back. So lots to look forward to, but lots of competition as well, which I think is healthy, and it makes the sport thrive.
Absolutely. So I'm going to move on because I can see that they're packing away behind us. Predictions then. But first, before I ask about prediction, what is your favourite fight of tomorrow and why?
I think it's got to be top of the bill. It's got to be the EUBANK Williams fight. I've looked forward to it for a long time. It's got a bit of everything. It's got the grudge. It's got the needle. It's got the unpredictability of who's going to win. And I think it's got Adam Booth and the subplots. I love that fight, and it's going to have a fantastic crowd. And I love electricity in arenas. Going back to Hatton Sue at 2 a.m. in June 2005, going to Naz Kelly in the Garden and AJ Klitschko, and just nights where it's just unbelievable. And they could be at the York Hall, or they could be at the big stadiums. It doesn't matter. Madison Square Garden, for Joshua Ruiz. Lots of things. And so I think this is going to be a special atmosphere tomorrow night. Liam Williams will have the crowd, whether it'll be a help or a hindrance, we'll wait and see. That's definitely the fight I'm looking forward to most. It's a pick-em. It's a case of whether Chris Eubank can shine and finally give us that career-defining performance that takes him to world title level, or whether Liam Williams will have another shot at the world title this summer. So it's a great fight. But I'm also looking forward to the other, they are equally as excited about Clarissa Shields' appearance on UK soil for the first time since 2012 in London, and also Caroline Dubois' debut, because we've got some big plans for Caroline.
Yeah, Savage has let slip that there's going to be more signings throughout the year. I've tried to get it out of him on possibly who it will be, but he's not saying anything. I just want to, is Sky Sports then going to just continue as the broadcaster, or would they also sign their own fights and promote them alongside Boxer? No. Just something as moving forward.
No. We won't do that. We're the broadcaster. You know, we've had deals in the past. You know, with certain fighters. You know, I know HBO did that for a while. I think that we're a broadcaster, that's what we do. Yes, I work closely with Ben to sort of plot the strategy, but ultimately he's the promoter and it's his job to deliver the fights for us. And I guess I'm the quality control to make sure, you know, our bosses are happy with what we're putting on and more importantly, the customers are happy. Sometimes we can't get it right, but we do everything we can. We're all fight fans behind the scenes at Sky, and you know, we all want the best, but we can't have everything. You know, Eddie's got a huge amount of fighters, so has Frank. So no, we're not going to promote, but we do work very closely with our promotional outfits to make sure that we can all work in a synergy together. And the same thing with Top Rank. I'm very close to Todd DeBerth, and I know Todd's wanted to be on Sky for many years, and we're loving that relationship. And he'll be over for the Josh Taylor fight. And we've got Michaela Meyer, as you said, here this week, who's bringing some charms, some knowledge. She's great, isn't she? So is Clarissa, and you know, so it's fantastic. We've got Tasha Jonas fighting for a world title in a couple of weeks. Fraser Clark turning pro. Interesting that Dan mentions other fighters we're going to sign. Of course, we're looking out for anything we can do. A lot of fighters are under contracts, a lot of fighters with other promoters. But there's new blood as well, and we'll be making hopefully some sensible signings as we go forwards. We were in the running for Galal Yafai, and I spent time with Galal, and I think he's made a good decision to go with Eddie. I think Eddie's got a lot of fighters around that weight, and connections out in, especially in sort of Latin America and stuff. And I think that Galal needs to be moved quickly. So I think he's going to be a world champion. He's a great guy. He's a wonderful fighter. We had a terrific sort of respect between us as these processes go through, and we wish him absolute success going forwards. Shame he's not with us, but you can't have everybody. We've got Fraser Clark, we've got Caroline Dubois, and hopefully we'll be adding to that.
And when you look out for fighters, what makes a fighter attractive for your team to say, come on board, we want you?
That's a really good question. And there's one on the other side, actually, who I'm pretty close to, a guy called Jordan Thompson, who ticks a lot of boxes, for example. You know, he's good looking, he speaks well, he can punch, he can fight, he's undefeated, he's probably going to be a heavyweight at some point. I don't know, I think you look for star quality. You look for something different. You look for a story to tell. Ricky Hatton was great because he was a boy next door, and he knew half the people in the Manchester arena who were watching him. He had a pint with the other half, and I think that was his attraction. Nassim Hamed's attraction was, his flamboyancy and his extravagant ring walks and, his braggadocious attitude, and he brought something different to the table. Carl Froch, the man of steel, the hard man. Joe Calzaghe, naturally talented and such an amazing fighter. Everybody brings different things, and I think you're looking for that. You're looking for fighters that are going to not necessarily be world dominators. Often there's really good stories, and cult characters that you sort of come across. I love working with Michael Gomez, for example, because he just brought something different. He brought an energy to the party, and you don't have to be a world champion. Our own Matthew Macklin should have been, but was never a world champion. So they're different. I think it's about a balance, and it's about a group of characters who all bring something to the table, to the party. Fraser Clark is probably the most Ricky Hatton-like fighter I've seen in many years, as in he's so popular. He's such a great bloke. Everybody likes him. And I think he can, as a heavyweight, he can swell that. He was captain of Team GB. He's got a maturity. He's fun, he's engaging. Can he be a heavyweight champion? We'll do everything we can to try and make him a world heavyweight champion, but he's got to do his bit in the ring. What we can do outside is give him the platform, put him on the big shows, cross-promote him, all of that sort of stuff, and that's what we've got. And I think Caroline couldn't believe it when she first came into Sky. She was, I think, only 20 at the time, and she sort of wandered in, and she was like, wow. She couldn't believe it, and she's like, well, I'll just sit in the corner here. And I'm like, no, Caroline, let us make you a star. And of course, she's got to do the stuff in the ring, and it's Let's walk and take things slowly at the beginning. It's, she's got to go through different stages. We're not saying that. I mean, Dan's already gone on record as saying she's going to be a multi-weight champion. Well, of course, we hope she is. We don't know that yet. We don't know how it's going to develop. But I tell you, she's in the right place to become a superstar, and we'll be doing everything we can to help her on that journey. It's important to have those connections. I like taking fighters not under my wing, but I like being there. I like them having my number, and if they want to chat, if they they're worried about anything, that it's not just the promoters they can come to, but it's their Sky family as well. So with Matchroom, they had some great fighters, and I'm very close to Katie Taylor, and I got on really well with lots of them, Conor Ben, Joshua Boatsi, and but of course I haven't got that access anymore, and they're on another channel, so we got to go again. But that's what you look for. You look for ones that want to make it work, ones that are dedicated, but that have that little bit of sparkle too.
And finally then, what would be your most desirable cross-promotion fight? Put the promoters aside, what would be your favourite cross-promotion fight?
Wow. I'd like to see Canelo fight Usyk. That'd be an interesting one. Joshua Usyk, AJ against Fury, AJ Wilder. I mean, where do you want me to go? All the way through to the weights? I mean, there's huge amounts. I'd love to see Terence Crawford, share a ring with Errol Spence. I'd love to see. There's so much out there. I really want to see Amir Khan and Kell Brook, and you know what? We're gonna find out about it in 2 weeks' time. So that was on my dream list, and it's happening. And it took years and years to make it happen. But when you've known two fighters since they were kids, that's a pretty special moment. But yeah, look, there's loads of fights to be made out there, and I think the great thing is that they're happening. I love the Katie Taylor Amanda Serrano fight. I love the fact that if Clarissa and Savannah both come through, they're going to meet. There's huge amounts to look forward to, and yeah, it's just a great time for boxing and the competition that we have, and we'll do everything at Sky we can to get better and better and give the customers the best value we can.
Thank you so much for your time, Adam. I wanted to get to know you. It's the first time we've ever spoke, so I really appreciate you taking the time to speak to us.
No problem at all. Lovely speaking to you.
Hi, and thank you for watching October Red Boxing. Like, subscribe, and tap the bell for notifications. You can also find us on Instagram at October Red Boxing and on Twitter, October Red UK. And remember, at October Red, we stay ready.